So now that we can create some users in PowerShell for Active Directory, let's take a look at how we can manage some of those. So I've created another account for my wife, actually, Christine Gross. So let me do a get AD user C Gross, which was her maiden name. Now, let's say I wanted to update this account information. So I want to make some changes. She married me. I'm going to change her last name. So I want to change her display name and her surname. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to use the command set AD user. So let's do a get help for set AD user, and we're going to pipe this to more. And using my set AD user, what I'll do is I'll set my identity, the AD user, and then I can change any of these options, including surname and display name. I can change whether they have to change their password at next logon. I can set whether they cannot change their password. Basically, anything that I can set on a user account, I do it by doing this change AD user or set AD user. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to update her to having her current name information. So it's going to be set, actually let me real quick, get AD user C gross. And then I'm going to set AD user C gross, and I want to change her surname to Dalton. And I want to change her display name to Christine Dalton. And remember, because I'm doing a space, I have to put that in either single quotes or double quotes. And that now sets the AD user information. So now if I do a get AD user C gross, I should now see her surname as Dalton, and this doesn't display her or show her display name. Now notice I did not change her SAM account name. To do that, and this is something that'll happen fairly often in businesses, but you can change the account name. And actually, really easy way to do it that a lot of businesses will do is they will just copy the account from one to the other. You kind of got to be careful when you do that, though, because that doesn't update the SID. So what you may end up wanting to do is let's change her SAM account name to C Dalton. And now if I do a get AD user C gross, oh my gosh, she's not there. Let's get AD user C Dalton, and there she is. Now her name is still displaying as C gross, but her SAM account name, her security management name, is now C Dalton. Okay, so what about enabling? Now, we talked about enabling and disabling user accounts before, and you'll notice that she is currently disabled. So that's just enable AD account for C gross, except that it's no longer C gross. It's now C Dalton. So now if I do a get AD user C Dalton, as she is now enabled. Okay, so we've talked about enabling and disabling accounts. Something else that we will have to do quite a bit is unlock user accounts and reset user passwords. Let's real quick. I want to do, we've been looking at some of these AD account commands. Let's do a get command for the noun AD account. And so we've been using these, we've used the search, we use the enable and the disable. The other option here is to unlock AD account. And what that does is you can't lock somebody's account, right? Somebody will lock their own account when they've put in their password incorrectly X number of times, whatever your password policy is. So you unlock that account, just simply unlock AD account C Dalton, and that will unlock the account. Now, when that happens, frequently what we're going to need to do is we're also going to need to change their password because they've forgotten their password and they is lost my train of thought. They forgot their password, and so we need to create a new password for them. And normally what we'll do is we'll create a new password, we'll unlock their account, and then we'll also set the account using the set 80 account or set 80 user. We'll set their username so that they have to change password at next logon. Okay, so we need to change their password. So let's do a get command, and let's just look for everything that's related to password. And we're going to find right here set AD account password. So if we do a get help on set AD account password, let's go ahead and pipe that to more just in case. And so we'll see what we'll do is we'll use a set AD account password. We'll set their AD account, and then we'll put in their new password and, if necessary, their old password. Now, notice that this does not give you the option to require password change at next logon. So that's going to require using the set AD user. Also, and this is what I wanted you to see here, this is going to require the new password be a secure string. So we would do, now I still have, because I haven't reset my session yet, I still have my $pass that I created in a previous video. But in case you haven't seen that video, let me run through how we create that secure string again. I'm going to create a variable. We'll call this $new pass. And then we're going to do a convert to dash secure string. And then we're going to give it the value that we want to convert to a secure string. And then we're going to want to say as plain text, because if we don't, it won't recognize that, hey, this is supposed to do plain text that it's supposed to convert. And then we're also going to have to do the force because it's going to complain about it. So what that does is that creates a variable for me called new pass, and then takes this plain text value and forces it to convert to a secure string. So now that we've got that, we can go back to our set AD account password, and we're going to change the password for C. Dalton. We're going to set the new password to be $new pass. And remember right here, instead of doing the $new pass, I could have done this all on one line by doing parentheses, convert to secure string, blah, 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 close parentheses. Okay, and that updates the password for C. Dalton. Okay. So we've talked about modifying account information, we've talked about unlocking user accounts, resetting user passwords, enabling and disabling user accounts. The other one that we'll deal with a lot is removing user accounts. Now remember, just like in the GUI, when you remove a user account, if you remove a user account and then recreate one with the same name, it's a different user because accounts are identified not by the name but by the SID. So, what we're going to want to do, you're going to want to make sure before you remove a user account that you really want to remove the user account. But at some point, we're going to get to the point where we need to remove them. So, let's do get command for AD -noun AD user. And we'll see the get AD user, which gets us information, new AD user, which creates a user, set AD user, sets the AD user information, and then remove AD user gets rid of it. So here's what we can do. And I can do this two ways. So I can do remove AD user and type in the AD user information, or I can do this. I can do get AD user C. Dalton. And I can make sure that's the user that I want. And if it is, then I can just pipe that to remove AD user. It's going to ask me to confirm. Yes, I want to remove the user. Now if I get AD user C. Dalton, she no longer exists. And just to confirm that, I'm going to get AD user, and we're going to do the filter, because remember we got to do the filter if we want to search for all users. name is like everything. And then I just want to format table. Format table is the full thing. FT is the alias for it. Format table name. And I no longer have C. Dalton, so my user is successfully removed. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a real quick overview of how we can manage Active Directory users using PowerShell.